Okay, there's people who like to say they got a lock on this weekend's plays or they got a lock in the NFL. They try to tell you that they got this guaranteed play in sports betting, and that is just simply not true. It's never true. Some people like to look for, like, why don't you give me your best play? Why don't you give me the thing that is almost like 200%, 100% gonna come through, the thing that you are super confident about. And there's a problem with that type of betting. Let's say that you're trying to only bet those things that you have the highest confidence in, and so you're only choosing those kind of plays. It's not necessarily bad if you're constantly doing those type of plays, though. But what I'm trying to say is that you can't just rely on that one play. For example, if they're saying that they got this high probability play and it's going down today, you definitely should not be risking your entire bankroll. You shouldn't even be risking more than your normal bet amount unless you play this type of consistent way, which is like maybe like 5% on these type of plays, 4% on these type of plays, 3% on these type of plays, right? And that's a percentage of your bankroll. But if you're saying that this guy has a high probability play, and now all of a sudden that's what the one you want to take, and you've been ignoring all the other plays, and then now you want to bet 10% or 20% on this one play, hoping that it's going to hit so that you can make a great payday, that is probably the worst thing to do. And that's because you're highly counting on something to happen. And just in sports betting, that's just never the case. That's why if like some people will give out a VIP play or like a step down play, and the idea there is to bet like what I mentioned, 5%, 4%, or 2%, 1%, right? Whatever your percentage is, I'm not talking about that, but what I'm saying is that they'll probably bet slightly bigger than normal, right? Not extremely bigger, not 3 times, not 2 times, not 10 times bigger than normal. That's definitely not what you want to do when a guy tells you that he has this lock of the century or lock of the week, lock of the month. There's no such thing as that. So you never want to put all your chips or all your bankroll into that type of betting. Now, I'm just going to give you an example so you could visually see this. Let's think of a roulette wheel. You got black, red, and you also got two greens, right? Which is a 0 and a 0, 0, right? So if you just had black and red on a roulette wheel, that would kind of signify like a one. Those are 1-to-1, and that could signify team A or team B, right? But you add the 0, 0, so that gives the edge to the sports book. So in that sense, you can kind of make the correlation that that black and red and green, that is similar to sports betting, in the sense that if you bet team A versus team B, there could be a push, which if you don't have the hook, then you could be even, right? But there's the hook, which is the half a point, and then also they don't pay 1-to-1. They pay like minus 110, right? So you have to risk. Let's say you risk $100, you're only going to win $90. So you can never like break even in that sense. Where in roulette you could play black and red. But what I'm saying is that, let's say you're playing on a roulette wheel, and you could see it's going black, red, black, black. Oh, I can guarantee that this next play is going, this next pick is the lock of the week. It's guaranteed it's gonna be black, right? You would never put a bigger stack on it, although some people do, right? You look at that black, red, black, red, it's gonna be black for sure, and you're just taking that risk, and that type of risk can bankrupt you. And that's exactly how you don't want to play, right? So when you see black, red, and then you're thinking that, oh, it's got to be black. It's got to be black this time, because you've been seeing some patterns, right? And which is never really true in roulette. And that's also not the case in sports betting. You can have a more likely scenario to win that bet, but it's never 100% guaranteed. So you never want to risk that big amount onto it's going to be black. I know it for sure. It's going to be black, right? So the idea here is that you want to continue betting based on, let's say it's roulette, right? You're looking at patterns, you kind of see something, and you're going to the idea is to you want to keep playing until you get into the profit side. And then what do you do when you're getting into the profit side on roulette table? You cash out. So it's the same when it comes to sports betting. And when it comes to sports betting, we do it like week to week, right? If you have a regular account and you keep all that money in there, then it's kind of different. But you can also think week to week, like your goal is to win this week, right? So let's say you play throughout the week, you don't risk too much money, and you play consistently throughout the week. Your goal is to end that week in the profit. If you don't play the whole week, well then so be it. But if you're ending the week in a profit, that's great. That's a great goal to have, right? And so, you never want to go all in. Even if you're losing that week, sometimes you just got to take that little bit of a loss and know that you can come back next week to win in that book, right? So this is the idea of sports betting. You have to slowly win over time, not risk too much, especially when somebody says that they have a lock. It's just not true. Okay? So that is how you want to play with your sports betting. Don't risk too much on that lock of the week because it just ain't the case. This is Ken with Bettor Culture. Thank you for watching.